Hi folks and welcome to CNB. Buongiorno. We come to you from Milan this week. This is the annual EICMA show, which is the world's best motorcycles and two-wheelers of all sorts under one roof. We're talking about an annual show that really brings all the motorcycle enthusiasts. It's almost like a mecca for them. If you ask me the full form of EICMA, it'll take too long for me to start pronouncing it correctly. So you got the full form coming up here on your screens. Let's get you straight into the action. Bikes like this one, world premieres from the best and biggest motorcycle manufacturers from around the world. That's what you get at the EICMA show. The big news this year, though, is coming from Harley Davidson. Let's get you straight into that because it is very relevant to our market.
The Milan Motor Show, or EICMA, is held every year just as winter sets into northern Italy, and it's the place to be if you like bikes and anything that goes with them. Okay, so it stands for Esposizione Internazionale Ciclo Motociclo e Accessori. This is the 71st edition, and the motor show was first held in 1914. And yes, it is the European manufacturers who do flex muscle here, everyone from Ducati to BMW. But the Japanese and the Americans aren't far behind. And this year, the big news story out of EICMA definitely came from Harley Davidson. The company announced big plans on the eve of the show at a special press event held elsewhere in Milan. The world will get the much talked of small Harley, and for the very first time, the bikes will be manufactured outside the United States. We're not talking just assembly, it's full manufacturing. The all-new Street family of bikes will be made parallelly at the company's plants in Kansas City and Bawal, Haryana. The Indian production will supply domestic demand and also the European market, while the Kansas City site will make these models for North America. India, though, only gets the 750 and not the Street 500, and the launch with prices will happen at the February 2000 Auto Expo, with sales and deliveries starting in March.
So if you've got just about 5 lakh rupees to burn, well, come February or March next year, you can get yourself one of these. Sounds like a lot of money, but you know, in the context of high-end biking in India, that's actually looking to me like a bit of a steal. Why is that? Well, it's the first time that you're going to have a bike of this nature being manufactured in the country. Now that means that there would be a little bit of an incentive that allows Harley Davidson to bring down the pricing. The 750 is the one we're going to get, not the 500 as I've already told you. And in terms of overall style and proportions, it's not exactly the kind of bikes you expect when you think Harley Davidson, but therein lies the advantage, because what you're going to have is a bike that's better suited to our conditions. That's something that I think a lot of buyers, a lot of consumers in India are going to appreciate. Slight low riding height and yet a better ground clearance, better wheel travel as well, and you know what, in the end, also better maneuverability. That becomes important, not just the liquid-cooled engine and the technical aspects, but better maneuverability in our kind of traffic conditions. That to me is a huge appealing factor, because that's something that the current bikes seem to lack. And so yeah, next year this is going to be the baby to watch out for.
And I can't wait to ride it too. Harley also showed off its Project Rushmore bikes and the rest of its range at Milan. We moved from Harley to Suzuki, a big display and one that announced a brand new bike and a brand new scooter.
Now, it's not surprising to see the kind of crowds that the Suzuki stand is attracting. And why not? You've got a big world debut happening. The V-Strom 1000 is actually the big world debut. And, you know, Suzuki does have a niche big bike strategy for India. So perhaps at some point, this 100 bhp bike will make its way there. But I want to show you something a little bit different. And you've got a huge display here for this new motor scooter, the Bergman, that's also making its debut. 650cc engine, and you've got different variants here, different kind of power outputs. This one, 55 bhp output. Now, the question I have for you, does something like this have any kind of potential in our market? Like your feedback on that, whether you would be open to riding a big, mean-looking scooter like this one.
The Bergman is also available in smaller 400 and 200cc avatars, and India hasn't really had a motor scooter after the Kinetic Blaze, right? I like it, but can't really comment on its ride, of course. Let's go Italian next with the hallowed and much revered MV Agusta brand next. Hot Italian styling is the hallmark of these bikes. Take a look.
125 horses, 800cc, and this is the new Turismo Veloce from MV Agusta. Now, here's a brand that's been often misunderstood and now almost relegated to being, in many ways, irrelevant, but with a huge amount of rich tradition and history behind it. One hopes that there is very soon some good news in terms of expansion from this brand. Remember, there were rumors about MV Agusta coming to India as well. Right now, we have nothing to confirm to you on that front.
The company has been through some tough financial stress and has had owners ranging from Malaysia's Proton to even Harley Davidson, but it's now independent. The news of an India launch, though, has sadly gone cold.
Now, you might have a new debut in the form of the Turismo Veloce, but this bike is one that's definitely caught my eye, the Rivale 800. Now, what I like about this one, of course, it's presented in different colors. This is a nice matte gray as well, but it's the little lighting systems that I'm liking here. Look at the way the indicators have been integrated into the handlebar. Also loving the combination tail light. It's been a very different kind of approach, I think, that's been taken to this in terms of just the way it's been split up on the two sides. And it sort of enhances and accentuates that monoshock. So really liking that kind of styling. I think that's what it is, right? I mean, when you think of Italian design, it is things like this that you expect to see.
There was also one done in a camouflage paint finish. Awesome, right? And yes, it punches 125 horses. Whoa! And don't miss the triple exhaust as well. Wow! Let's move on to the big one, the Japanese motorcycle giant, Honda.
Flexing muscle, and how? Well, Honda is doing it in style here at the EICMA, perhaps one of the largest displays from any manufacturer. That part is not surprising, it is the big daddy, but what is surprising is just the sheer number of show premieres and debuts you're seeing from Honda. Lots and lots of bikes on display which are new, a lot of them being seen for the first time.
Amongst the many debuts, the Honda CBR 1000RR Fireblade SP stands out. It's a refreshed, track-focused Fireblade. And the other bike I noticed was the CBR 300R. Yup, the 250R makes way for this stronger rival to the Kawasaki Ninja 300. We will have to wait and see just how soon this 286cc 30 bhp bike makes it to India.
The Fireblade SP perhaps getting a lot of attention, but something my colleague Kranti pointed out to me, and that is that you're seeing lots of touring bikes here at the EICMA this time. You're seeing that focus not just from the Europeans but from the Japanese as well, and in particular here at the Honda stand, a lot of attention being given to bikes like this one, the NC750X. Very comfortable stance, and yet combining that with a whole lot of power and aggression. So probably see more and more of these kind of products going forward. There is another one here that's making its debut. That's the Cross Tourer sitting right across the aisle from me. Take a look at these two bikes from Honda.
The third big Japanese brand is also very busy at EICMA. Yamaha showed not just its range of superbikes, including a refresh of the hallowed R1, but also its new MT-09 and its three-wheeled Tri-City concept, which it says will redefine urban mobility by offering a large and powerful scooter that is extremely stable and safe too. Now onto a brand that's also targeting the Japanese more and more, KTM, and it showed its new 1290 Super Duke R. which got lots of attention. The Rolls-Royce of motorcycles, as it was once called, the revived Brough Superior brand, showcased the Super Sports or SS 100. What a bike! Classic and contemporary, the bike uses a 997cc 100 horsepower V-twin engine. Polaris is using EICMA 2013 to make the European debut of the Indian Chief and also the Victory Hammer SLE. Polaris will launch the Indian brand here next year, we hope, but Victory, well, that looks unlikely. But there is another brand arriving much sooner.
It's later this month that we finally get the Triumph brand into the Indian market. The Bonnie will start that range. We expect prices to start somewhere between 5 and 6 lakh rupees, and then of course go all the way up to the early 20s or perhaps even higher, depending on what the final lineup looks like. Now there should be about 7 models we expect coming in from Triumph. Lots expected really in terms of what the fans of this brand are looking forward to. One does hope though that they get their retail strategy right. It's not just about pricing, but we're certainly excited to get the entry of yet another brand into our market.
Yep, it's the last week of November that we get to see Triumph, and I certainly hope we get most of the models right at word go. EICMA though is as much about the big brands as it is about two-wheeler components, accessories, and the niche customizing and modification studios. Like these mind-blowing choppers from Custom Attack, an Italian modifier. And yes, we haven't forgotten the small yet significant Indian presence at EICMA, coming from the most well-known Desi manufacturer, Royal Enfield, which was showing off its pride and joy, the new Continental GT, which debuts in India this month. Also at EICMA, others who want to one day be here on display, like bike modifier Vardenci Motors, which now hopes to make its own bikes with Moto Morini of Italy.
Moto Morini has been producing 1200cc V-twin engines over the last decades, and some of the most fabulous engine technology. We've been in talks with them for the last 1 year, and we have now just formed the association for the same, where we are going to start manufacturing motorcycles based on their engines and frame technology. This is the biggest show of its kind for two-wheelers, and brings on one common platform motorcycle manufacturers, auto component manufacturers, and for motorcycle manufacturers like me, small volume. It really offers the opportunity to network with people who are not only producing some of the finest components in the world and to understand how we can use them in our motorcycles, but also to meet with people who market motorcycles across the world and see how trade can be conducted through various channels. So it really is the perfect platform to network and associate.
So it is good to see some Indian presence here at Milan, but the one that's surprising me is LML. Now you're getting to see a fairly decent sized display here at EICMA, but in the Indian market, we hardly ever get to hear from this brand anymore. So, so many scooters, the Star Deluxe here on display. Like I said, a bit of a surprise even to me. Time for us to slip into a short break here. We've got plenty more coming from the EICMA. Stay tuned.
.500 episodes, 10 years, and you really wonderfully, very well covered all these this dynamic market and all these different consumer preferences that are emerging, and you're looking at trends and so on. So I congratulate you on that. And in addition, I think what you've really done a great job in, Siddharth, and you and the team, is the global dimension that you brought to us in India as well. So congratulations and a great job.
You've been showing speed. I mean, achieving what we've done in 10 years is just amazing.
Congratulations to all of you and your team at NDTV Profit, Car and Bike. Please carry on the good work.
Welcome back to the show. We are still coming to you this week from Milan. We are at the EICMA. And you know what, in the first segment you heard me talk a lot about what's happening with Harley Davidson in India, but let's get a bigger perspective on why that becomes important to the company's larger strategy. Joining us right now on CNB, we've got Anup Prakash. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And thank you for being with us on the program right now. Got to start by asking you, you know, there's so much buzz around the stand here at the EICMA. What makes it special? Why is this time so important for Harley?
Yeah, well, it's a great time, you know, for us because we've made two dramatic announcements in the last period of 3 months. And they're two probably most important announcements we've made in a very long time when it comes to product. As you know, earlier this summer, we made an announcement called Project Rushmore, which is basically a long customer-led development and revamp of our entire touring lineup, which has actually resulted in such an increase of sales, the greatest year-over-year increase in sales in Harley history. And now today, you know, in EICMA, we're launching a Street 750 and Street 500, which again was a multi-year customer-led development project to build the perfect bike for urban young adults all over the world. And I think, you know, that's why we're sitting here feeling really good about the near future and what's to come.
It's a good time to be Harley Davidson. But
Absolutely.
tell me, Anup, the development for this project, the Street project, you shared with me earlier, it goes back many years. It's not just something that you've decided to do overnight. But having said that, at what point did Harley Davidson India get involved?
Well, you know, this project has come from we did over 3,000 interactions with customers. 1,600 of those were one-on-one interviews in 10 different countries. Many of those interviews also were done in India, in New Delhi, in Bangalore, in Mumbai, you know, our three largest markets and arguably largest markets for anyone in India. And that direct feedback went into the development of this product. And since then, we'd come back to talk to customers in India about accessories. What should the accessories be like? What are the riding conditions and riding preferences they have in urban environments and for outside near urban environments? And then also coming back once more to talk about expectations around performance, pricing, service, and all the things that go with ownership. And so that multiple dialogue with customers, you know, over a period of a couple of different years has really gone into driving a significant voice into Street's development.
What's interesting, I have to in fact share with the viewers, is that right at word go, there's also a lot of talk about customization. That kind of goes with the Harley Davidson brand, but you're seeing lots of iterations of the Street family already on display here. I think that's something that will excite younger buyers as well, the fact that you can do so much with this platform.
Well, these are great. I mean, you know, what you see in front of you are concept bikes. These are really expressions of customization. These were built in Milwaukee by our own industrial designers in our product development center. And what they did was they basically took a stock street bike and they created a completely different look. So this is like a very urban custom bike design, you know, inspired a lot by what US and European customizers would do. Whereas you have this, which is a garage custom. And this is inspired a lot by Europe as well as a lot of the Japanese influence of customization. And then on this side you have a racing inspired concept bike. All of these are made from a stock street 750 chassis powertrain, and what you see is just certain things chopped and fabricated by customizers to make it their own. And I think that's what shows the potential blank canvas that Street provides to any owner and gives you that sense of the different urban directions it can go.
That one's getting my engine started.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
It looks great. Now, the thing that is also exciting me is the announcement about the production. The fact that you're doing this in India, the fact that you're manufacturing and not just assembling this product, and not just for India but for Europe as well. That's got to be a big step for you in India.
It is a big step. You know, I think it's the first premium heavyweight motorcycle to be built in India. Street will be built in India as well as Kansas City, Missouri, which is one of our long-standing final assembly plants. And it's going to be great because for us it's all about delivering the right product to the right customer at the right time. And for us to be able to expand our global footprint of plants and serve customers in further regions. So for example, being able to serve Europe in a better way, serve Southeast Asia and the rest of Asia in a better way from India is going to be very advantageous for us in the long term. So it's very exciting.
In the first segment of the show, we've already told viewers that it's the 750 that gets launched in India first, but both the bikes will get manufactured in India. I know a lot of them have this question, so I might as well ask you right away.
Sure.
Why not both in India at word go?
Well, we want to start with the 750. We did talk to a lot of customers, and they told us they felt, a Harley Davidson 750 gave them the best, value for investment proposition. It'll be the experience that they've always wanted in a Harley, which is more of a heavyweight experience. And so we don't rule out bringing the 500 sometime down the road, but we want to see how the 750 does first, and we'll go from there.
You got specific things here which are interesting from an Indian context. The enhanced ground clearance, the better wheel travel, things like that. Some of the feedback that went in from our market, I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, a lot of, again, the voice of customer that we heard when we first entered the market based on our existing product, we brought into street, right? The development is street. When you think about the liquid-cooled powertrain, which is a drawback from all the expertise we developed with the V-Rod. Then you think about the ground clearance, which is something we learned when bringing Sportsters into the market. The street will have 2 inches better ground clearance than the Iron 883, for example. It also has a better travel and suspension, both front and rear. Again, learning from the urban road conditions that we all have to ride around in India, as well as in other markets that we're in. So all of those inputs have come in. The dark custom styling has also been brought to bear here. Dark custom is our young adult kind of styling package, which we show on the Street Bob, we show on the V-Rod, and now we are able to feature here on the street. And so that's going to appeal to that dark custom soul that a lot of our young adult riders look for us for.
And it's going to be one of the most maneuverable Harley Davidsons.
The maneuverability and the agility was one of the greatest requirements. It's why you have a 60-degree V-twin for that low travel base. And it's just going to be, a great. I've ridden it myself. I've ridden, the prototype when we were in development. It is so smooth, so agile, so nimble. It feels great. Sounds great. It's got all the authentic Harley look, sound, and feel.
I got to join you in that club. I've got to get my hands on one of them soon. But
absolutely.
One last thing before I let you go. You've said that you will launch the bike at the Auto Expo. You'll have prices then. And you promised that the on-road price stays below 5 lakh rupees. So that's something a lot of people will be interested to know about. But when do you begin bookings?
So we will begin bookings right after the Auto Expo. At the Auto Expo, we'll announce kind of final pricing and availability. But we have talked about being under 5 lakhs on road. That's a commitment from us. The first time customers will be able to see the bikes, and they'll see all of these bikes live in person in India, will be India Bike Week in Goa, January 17th and 18th. So we hope all the enthusiasts come and check them out. We'll be there to answer questions. We'll also have Frank Savage, the industrial design lead for Street. He will be there from Milwaukee, Wisconsin to talk about Street. So it's going to be an exciting launch for the next couple of months.
It'll be interesting to see how you handle all the bookings that I'm sure are coming your way.
I hope that's a problem I have.
I hope so too. All the very best with it, and thank you for speaking to us.
Good to see you here in Milan.
Likewise.
All right.
Now, of course, you're wondering why we haven't shown you the big daddies of the Italian two-wheeler industry, right? Have no fear, as we now take you into the world of Piaggio, which owns big brands like Aprilia, Vespa and Moto Guzzi. Vespa is launching an all-new Primavera range, which replaces the LX range of scooters. An India debut is likely at the Auto Expo in February. Meanwhile, the interest around Moto Guzzi is growing as the brand is looking to enter India next year too. At EICMA, Moto Guzzi is showing its updated V7. And finally, the other big Italian that you are dying to see, the sports bike specialist Ducati. The company has once again entered what it sees as a golden phase for its product portfolio. The big launches include the 1199 Super Leggera or Super Lightweight. The focus here was to drop weight, of course, and this has been achieved by trading metals and plastics for titanium and carbon fiber parts. Love the striking orange paintwork. Also loving the all-new Monster 1200 and 1200S. They both use a Superbike-derived 1199cc Testa Stretta engine, which pumps out 145 horses. This quite literally is the monster debut of EICMA this year. Lots of anticipation around the new engine on the Monster family. The 1200 is definitely one that's getting a lot of attention here. And you know what? I thought it was a fitting way to also kind of bring this whole episode to a close, because when you think Italian and you think motorcycle, that lifestyle and the kind of brands, this is the brand that really comes to the fore. Ducati, lots has been happening with the brand. It's been very successful in the last few years. Ever since Audi came into the picture, of course, now we only expect it to get bigger. And in India too, we hope there will be this resurgence, this new sort of approach when it comes to Ducati. This bike, well, this is one I would definitely like to get on, and so maybe sometime soon on CNB, react to what you've seen today from Milan and from EICMA. We hope you've liked that, because it's the first time we brought you here to EICMA as well. React to all of that on Twitter, Facebook, or on NDTV Social. I will see you next week. If you're on one of these or on anything on two wheels, please wear your helmet. And if you are in a car, please wear your seatbelt, whether in the front or back. Bye-bye.